Hello everyone. We are at the World Book Fair, New Delhi, and today we have with us Mr. Sandeep Mehra, the author of three books: The Rogue Bankers, Chasing Shadows, and The New Road to Kailash. So before we begin, sir, how do you feel to be the author of three books now?
Well, honestly, when I go back, I always wanted to be an author. The thing is, I started my journey with the police and then continued working with them. But at the back of my mind, always wanted to be an author. So I started this exercise. I think the COVID was the best time because I had lots of time with me, and that time actually I started my first book. The reception, the acceptance which it received, that prompted me to write another one and the third one. So that is how actually the journey started.
So on Chasing Shadows, what compelled you to return to investigative fiction? Like your first book was, New Road to Kailash. Then you got into investigator's point of view with the Rogue Bankers. So what inspired you to write investigative fiction?
No, the first book was the investigation one only. It was a real life investigation of the year 2001 stock market scam that is called the Rogue Bankers. So I started my journey with that. It is a true investigative story with the real names and real episodes. Everything. Even the dates are real in that particular book. Then I shifted to a complete fiction because the experience which I received which I got in while writing this Rogue Bankers was that actually when you're writing a true story, you need to take approvals from all the people involved if you are using their personal names and all. So I never wanted to go in that field again. So that is how actually I wrote this second book, The New Road to Kailash. And again, the kind of reception I received, the kind of feedback I received from my readers, they wanted to see the investigative stories again. So that is how I switched to another investigative book. But this time actually it is a fiction. So that no approvals are required to be taken.
Yeah. Why did you choose short case-driven stories like instead of long novel?
I wanted to develop a complete encyclopedia of all sort of investigations. So if you are writing just one offense, and you can summarize that in the entire book also. You can the entire one story can take you can occupy the entire book. But then you have to write so many books to complete the entire journey. So that is how actually what my aim is, that I want to summarize all sort of investigations, all sort of crimes, and that is how actually I have started. So in this book there are 5 stories, 5 different crimes. The next book which I have already started writing would be around 14 to 15 stories, longer ones, a thick book, and this is how actually I just want to summarize everything.
So to all crime thrillers and murder mystery fans, you will love Chasing Shadows. So your work is very well balanced with research and data. So how important was the authenticity while crafting the stories?
In my heart, I think I'm an investigator. So when you're writing an investigative report, it has to be backed by research and the authenticity has to be there. And the same thing actually I'm continuing while I'm writing the books as well. Because if the research is not there, because actually if you're documenting something, it has to be backed by facts, the figures and everything should be matching. Because tomorrow nobody should be questioning around the authenticity of that.
So how do you balance factual realism with narrative suspense without compromising them?
As I said, I never wanted to write a true investigative story. So if you read each and every story, you will identify that actually somewhere or some place you would have heard about that particular crime. Maybe the investigative result or the end result is not the same, or the people are not the same, or the place is not the same, but it is connected to the authentic theme is there.
Uh, so, sir, as you know, as you have been in the investigative field, many stories like explore political influence, administrative loopholes, and misuse of power. So, why do these themes persist across time, like even today?
Well, crime will continue. The thing is, if the crime is not there, I won't be having my job. So, yeah, I mean, on a serious note, because the crime will continue, because actually people are there to earn, I mean, say, early riches and all those things. So they will commit crimes. The political influence would be there, but what I feel that if there is a true investigator, if your investigator is doing their right job right, so there won't be any difficulty in solving the crime. If you see the preface of the book, the first line reads, "There is no perfect crime. It is only imperfect investigation." In my entire life as an investigator for 38 years, I have not seen a single case which could not be solved. So, if you are dedicated, if you are, sincere to your job, so definitely you will come out with the right results.
That's actually impressive. What are the most dangerous gray zones where crime and authority intersect?
Well, again, I will say the same thing. If an investigator is truthful, I think nobody can interfere in the investigation. The thing is actually, we are Indians, right? We are inspired by Gita. And the Gita says that apna karam ki eja, phal ki chinta mat kar. So if you are following that ideology, I don't think actually, because the maximum what your officers or what your seniors can do, they can change the investigator.
Correct.
So never get attached to anything. If that particular investigation goes out of your hand, be ready with that. So I think that is more important.
That's actually quite insightful. So the investigator in Chasing Shadows, Inspector Ravi, is relentless yet deeply human. What defines a great investigator beyond intelligence?
Well, you need to be, say, human. I think you might have seen in the movies or read about the police brutality and all. But I think a true investigator needs to solve the case.
Correct.
Not solve the allegation, not prove the allegation. So there are two different aspects of that. Many a times actually the investigator feels that when the complaint is made, it is his job to prove the complaint.
Okay.
Whereas his job is actually to identify the truth in that complaint.
Actually investigate.
Actually investigate, yeah.
How much of an investigator's success comes from psychology rather than procedure?
Very much. Honestly, an investigator has to be a psychologist right from the beginning. Until unless you think like a criminal, you won't be able to solve the crime. And again, when you are, say, interviewing a suspect or a witness, there is a very thin line in many of the cases. Actually, the witness or the, say, perpetrator, they could be the same as well.
Right.
So it is his job to identify that whatever the person is saying, whether it is truthful or not. It can only happen if the investigator is a good psychologist as well. There is a flip side to that also, because investigators do not have many friends, because they can identify the truth, whatever the person is saying, whether it is truthful or not.
So speaking in that way, no one can lie to you.
You can say that.
What personal sacrifices do people outside the system rarely understand about investigation?
You mean about the investigators or the investigators? Well, not only investigators. See, entire law enforcement or even the armed forces. You see, they don't have any personal life. In the corporate, when you are in a 9 to 5 kind of job, you can very well claim that actually your, say, work-life balance is not good. But for a, say, investigator, police investigator, or even for a armed forces guy, there is no life.
Yeah.
It is only work. A normal duty hours of a police officer is around minimum to 12 hours in a day with no Saturday, Sunday. I mean, hardly they get a 1 day break in a week. So, and again, I mean, if you're working 12 hours a day, you need to have some time to travel also, because you're not staying near to your working place. So there is no personal life for that. If I talk about the police authorities, they don't have any holidays. The people would be enjoying their say Ganpati or say Diwali or Dashera or Holi, but that is the most strenuous time for a police officer. So these things people don't say appreciate, I think.
Your stories often ask uncomfortable ethical questions, like is justice achievable, or sometimes only partially served? What do you have to say on that?
Well, investigation and justice are totally different ball games, right? The job of an investigator is only to investigate. Now, if I talk about many of the stories, I mean, if I talk about the rogue bankers, this investigation was completed by us, by my team, I think only in 89 days, right? That was way back in 2001. The trial in that particular case is still not started after 24 years. So, I mean, if you talk about an investigator, and basically I'm no one to comment on the justice or something, because that is the job of the court. So I think this answers your question.
How did your years with Indian police and CBI shape you with tension and truth?
An investigator has to be truthful, I think, and I mean, because my job was always to unearth the truth in a particular say complaint, right? So I mean, and of course, actually, when you are ethical, when you're doing your job sincerely, so I think you should not be worried about the outcome of that particular investigation, or actually what bad it will do to you. I don't think actually I have touched wood. I mean, I have not suffered anything around that.
Like, we'll move on to this or that section. It's kind of a rapid fire round. So, truth or closure?
Truth.
Rules or justice?
Justice.
Evidence or instinct?
Evidence.
Power or accountability?
Accountability.
Silence or whistleblowing?
Whistleblowing.
So a few questions more. Through the academic fraud investigations, you train future investigators as well. What mindset matters more than skill?
Well, I mean, many of the say investigators what I have come across, in many of the cases actually they believe, as I said earlier, that their job is to prove the complaint or the allegation. They need to change their mindset completely, and that is what we try to teach through Academy of Fraud Investigations. That your job is to identify the truth. So that is a mindset actually change we make.
What common mistakes do young investigators make while chasing high-profile cases?
They get influence, I think, or maybe they make their mindset. I mean, because if there is a say high-profile case or something, the media is after you many a times, and in fact, I have faced this many a times in my life, and I mean, media wants the investigation completed within a day or two because they want the story out of that.
Just for TRP.
Just for TRP. So I think the job of an investigator, because it takes time, and that is what actually the Supreme Court of India has also ruled basically, that you cannot compel an investigator to complete the investigation within a fixed time because the evidence takes time to get unearthed.
How can ethical investigation survive in a result-driven world?
It survives basically.
Okay.
Because as I said, actually, your bosses or the people actually who are expecting the investigation, they want the investigation to be completed yesterday, not even today.
Okay.
So, but side by side, actually, you have to convince them that this is not the job. Actually, this is not in your hand. The investigation is only completed when you have sufficient evidence against the person whom you're prosecuting.
Last question. Have you seen cases where doing the right thing came at a personal or professional cost?
Thankfully, not for me. But yes, I have seen things like that. A few of my colleagues have suffered. But I think more or less, actually, if you get yourself detached from the investigation and you're not, say, attached to that particular, say, case or something, I don't think actually you will suffer that way.
A message that you would like to give to your fellow investigators and to your fellow readers as well?
Well, the crime will continue, and I think it is our job to solve the cases. And as I said, not just to say prove the complaints, it is to prove the allegation. I think just collect evidence around that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.